I made a chart for everybody to show the last time that anybody had or received a raise. You also have a chart showing what a 3% raise would be, or a 4% raise, which is all the average of raises that are given, have been given. And each individual, exempt individuals have made a short paragraph, sent it to the entire board, talking a little bit about what they've been doing, their accomplishments, and if you'd like to have a discussion, that's fine. And again, these will be decided not this evening. No decisions can be made at a work session, but the discussions can be had, and any questions you have.
The union increases how much again?
Okay, the union increase is 3%. That was given in June. It also brings up an interesting point that the mayor asked me to send an email to all of you, which you received, about two of the newest people that came on to DPW. They came on within the time period of the raise, so their trial period was during the time that they would have gotten a raise, so they did not get the 3%. So the mayor, when they were hired, had promised them that they would get an increase, and so since we're discussing all the increases, this would be. No, I was.
Were they entitled to an increase after a certain period of time?
Right, when the probation was over.
When the probation
How
was
many months
over,
after probation is it?
it's now been, let's see, June, July, August, September, October, 3 months past their probation.
So they're entitled to
June.
retro pay at 3%?
At 3%, yep.
So I think that's what we need to discuss.
And that was the condition of when they had started. The mayor had a discussion with both of them. So she wasn't going to invest that much if they didn't work out.
So that's just Chris and Michael, right?
Correct. The other ones did all get raises as of June 1st,
On time, right?
on
And it
time.
would be
$1 the whole time.
Right.
How much is it?
$17.50 right now.
Right here, and then it would be 21.
How's that 3%?
It wasn't 3%, it was what, she started them low and they said they would.
And they
Well,
would
to
go up
get
to
them-
2150, is that what?
21.
Just 21?
All right, so.
How long have they been with us?
6 months.
January through
Oh,
October,
January,
yeah.
9 months.
Mhm.
But the pay would be retroactive to
What?
6 months.
Right,
Did you,
June.
post 3. I
June
guess.
1st.
Well, July,
or July 1st?
well, 6 months, July 1st.
Oh, July 1st.
Right, January through July. Well,
I'm just
January
confused.
through April, May, June.
When is the 3% increase? Is that next year, or is it, or there is no 3% on
Then they would be, that, since they'd be brought up to a fair or a workable salary, then as of June, they would get raises along with
they get
everybody,
3%
3%.
That's
Yep.
part of their contract.
That's part of the contract.
So we bring them to.
We bring 'em in.
We bring them now, retro
And-
to 21, retro to July 1.
And then they
And
would
then
just go.
next year, they would just
next
move with
year,
everyone
They would
else.
just go at the same pace of
Okay.
everybody else.
All right, well, Kareem is running late, but he was, next item we were discussing is the code
Were
enforcement.
there any other questions? I think that was pretty self-explanatory.
So do you want a resolution on the salaries at the next board meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Kevin?
we're gonna decide what the amount is tonight, or we're gonna just vote?
I think the amount is the hourly, it's the hourly.
Oh, no, for this?
Well, no, but
these-
Yeah,
there
for
are
these
4
two, just for these two.
Right.
For
Okay,
those
yeah,
two,
fine.
okay.
So we'll draw up a resolution that will say that there'll be retro at that rate, and then until June 1st, is it, or June
Well,
30th?
So there's probably a couple of them. Like one is bringing Chris and Mike up to,
Right.
and then the next is going to be what to do about the non-union.
Correct. So you can discuss those one by one if you like,
Well, there'll be
or,
totally different resolutions, is that
No,
correct?
of course, yeah. A resolution should accomplish one thing and one thing only.
well, the resolution doesn't have to show the amount on the resolution. That can be,
It's not, it's doesn't matter.
Okay?
It's public record.
Okay, so if you want to discuss tonight what it is, so you can make up the resolution.
Well, the we talked about it, right? It's 21.
No,
No,
that's
for
for Ryan,
them.
that's for Ron and Mike, we're
Oh,
talking
you're
about
talking
the
about
others.
it.
No,
So the
no,
others.
no,
I'm talking about Kareem, Nancy, Sharon.
I mean, in principle, I like the idea of keeping it in line with what the union folks are getting, just because I think it's fair. However, I mean, we all know Kareem's is way out of line.
Kareem also, during the time that he was here, he completed training, he had certification.
Yeah,
He's
his
more
letter-
experienced now. He's having a very hard time financially. We want to keep experienced people.
Well,
Yeah, it looks like he's done a lot of all of his training too.
Yeah.
Did you get the letter that he sent out?
yeah, I've read, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so, move on
Did
to.
you want to discuss? Does anyone have a
I'm
suggestion?
thinking, I mean, I like the idea of 3% with the exception of Kareem, because I think keeps everybody kind of in line, but it also takes a step forward to sort of correct Kareem's situation, and also send a message to him that, you know.
We value it, right,
Yeah,
we
we
value
value him. So, and I don't think it's a question of not valuing the others. I think it's just that, you know, if you look at the disparity between where he is versus where they are.
Is there a suggestion, though, you're talking about increasing it to a certain number? or-
No, I'm saying, I'm basing this off of the table that Leslie has provided. I'm saying, let's put everybody at 3% except for Kareem and move him at 4%.
Well, I'd like to make a comment on that. I think, I read Sharon's letter and I've interfaced with her on a limited basis, but I think she's vastly underpaid. And she's asked for a $10,000 raise. And in her case, I have no problem approving that.
I agree.
You're getting into budgetary areas.
Yeah, you really are.
No,
I mean,
no,
which is fine, but
well, we
you
didn't
can't set
budget any
precedents.
raises.
Are
Yeah.
any raises budgeted for this year?
that's the problem.
None
So are we
were?
talking about next year or what?
No, this year.
We have, there
Were they
is,
built in for this year?
I don't think so. You can check those, I don't think
yeah,
so.
there is some money that
Let me figure out what we have.
is set aside for raises, but I don't think,
Maybe we need to know the number.
I think when you start, well, it's not, I
You
can't even
can't,
give my
I'll tell you
opinion.
my opinion.
Yeah, I don't
hear
wanna
what
give
you're,
my
I think I know
opinion.
where you're going, because I think we're on the same page on this. You can't just start giving out, people like, oh, you know, Nancy's better than Sharon, and let's give her 10,000, but only give Nancy the 3% raise. It doesn't work that way. Across the board, everybody gets a percentage, and that's the way it should work.
Well,
And honestly,
The
you
enterprise doesn't
can't,
work that way. I mean, if you're
This
a
is
non-union.
government.
this is government,
Okay,
and we've
a
only allocated a certain amount of the budget for
This is a
raises.
non-union shop. I mean, this job's right. He's exempt.
when you think of what she
So
does.
I don't know if there's any rules that
we-
doesn't allow you to do what you please.
She's civil
She
service.
really, she's civil
Isn't
service?
she, Sharon?
No.
She's exempt.
No, she's
Okay.
exempt.
So when you look at what she does an enormous amount of work here, and she helps Leslie immeasurably, I'm sure you'll agree, correct?
Yes, everybody
She's
here
the one
works
that
very
gets all,
hard.
has gotten all the grants for us, which she's the one that's bringing in, she's the rainmaker, so to speak. She's bringing in a lot of money,
Well,
and
That's her job.
She,
yeah.
Well,
I
I
agree
know.
with
It's a
everything
job.
that's said about Sharon's work.
Yeah.
I think it's a slippery slope. I think as soon as we start
I agree.
picking and choosing, we open ourselves up to all kinds of problems.
So you think everybody should get paid exactly the same, no
Not
matter
exactly
what
the
they're?
same in
No.
raise-wise.
Raise-wise,
Yeah.
I don't
Listen,
agree
she
with
took the position at that salary with the job description that she's doing right now. She may be doing more than what, but that's in any company. You take on more than what you bargain for in any company.
They'll give you a raise.
So then they
Okay,
give you
okay,
extra
and
money.
this is-
Maybe,
for doing that.
maybe they will, maybe they won't. And I can tell you that the trend has not been that way in most firms for the last few years. I think if they want to, I think we need a set of objective criteria. I think if we want
Well,
to,
that's the other thing,
because right now, this is all based on a feel-good letter and not on, okay, these are certain milestones you agree to try to reach or additional responsibilities you agree to take on.
Well, one thing that I thought about, when she first got the job, Sharon, she was the deputy clerk, and based on her letter and maybe discussion, that she added deputy treasurer. That wasn't part of the original job.
she asked for the title.
Well, but does she
Well, the
perform
title
any?
comes-
That she been
comes
given
money with the
additional
title.
responsibilities.
Does she
She's
handle
doing
No,
something
nothing
right.
has changed since she started.
We can give her another title, we can make her the Duchess of Manorhaven if you want.
No.
What did you say, Mr. Turner? I'm
That's
sorry.
what we give her a title. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean.
Duchess?
Doesn't necessarily
James
mean,
has been funny.
doesn't necessarily mean you give a raise.
No,
Why don't we
and
find out
that's
what we have in
exactly
the
what I'm
budget?
saying. It's not because she's, what her title is, it's because
Why
I've
don't we
seen
get
her
the budget
working.
number? Why don't we get the budget number and you can divide it up?
Okay, let's
anyway.
get the budget number. Let's
We
look
have
at
it
it.
here.
Yeah, I
don't know.
do.
If
I
we
have
do,
it.
then you can divide it up anyway.
I do have the budget
That's
number.
fair. I don't think Sharon's gotten a raise in 2 years though, right?
It says that
But
here.
either did anybody else. I just looked at it across the board. Well, Leslie was the only one that, you know, because she was hired in 2014,
That was
so
the
this
same
would be her
salary
year.
that was,
Right.
right. back
But
then.
Sharon, 2012, 2013 was her last raise. That's gonna be 2 years then. Nancy, 2013, and Kareem hasn't got one since 2013 either, which was his start date actually.
Mhm.
So he hasn't got a raise since he started. So it seems like it's every 2 years that we, like Kevin said, we're kind of setting a precedence here.
Although
We're
most
kind of-
municipalities are 3% every year.
Every year, right.
Yeah.
But we were
So-
holding off and the employees
But if you
Because it was
don't,
understood.
very
but
tough.
if you
Everybody
don't,
was very
right.
tight.
For Sharon, if you did it at 6%, what would that amount to? If she, because she missed a raise in the last 2 years.
But so did everybody else.
I mean, you would just double the amount.
But so did everybody
Why
else.
would you just do it for?
Well, I'm just saying, in terms of
Sorry.
real numbers, it would be like
I had to shut that off, but I don't know how.
$2,500.
Where would she be on this? I see you here, personal clerk. Where would
Yes,
she be?
and deputy clerk,
Personal
personal
services.
services,
You'll be
right
able to find it.
underneath.
Okay, so
Yep,
she's
there you go.
48,
We know that.
and it was projected for her for 2013-14. 56,551.
Yeah, that's just a, okay. That's
And
just a
then-
budgeted amount, that's just a number.
Well, the budget
Well, that's
says
what
that.
Because every year what they do when it comes to the budget, what the accountants do, they just up it like 3-4%,
Well, I
because
think
they
it's
think
more
you're getting
than
that
that.
raise every year.
Because
That's how they
she
do it.
was actual 41 and we budgeted 49.7 for her.
That's what she's at.
just-
That's where she is.
Oh, she had 49, right.
That's where she is.
So that's-
49
So then she wasn't
Yeah.
raised.
Right.
Not since 10/2/13.
And she has a complete benefits package, right?
Yes.
Right. That's the other
Well,
thing.
See,
then
that's
what's
the
the value
other
of that?
thing.
Yeah,
I would
that's what-
just say to you, which I didn't put on mine, I don't
20,000.
take benefits. It costs me not, it costs the village nothing.
Right.
To
And
move
can
for
you just tell me who
benefits,
does?
so-
So Sharon takes it?
Sharon does have benefits for herself and
Kareem as well.
and
So you
Kareem
gotta add
does
another
too.
22,000.
They do. They all do. I do not.
Which the village is paid for, and that's the reason why this village is always on a lower salary, because they've always added in the insurance.
The
what
other
insurance
villages
would be.
don't pay insurance
No.
at all?
The insurance, the health insurance without that, though, I think it's about almost 1,900.
No, I know, it's very
No, no.
expensive. No, I didn't realize the other villages didn't pay. And that's
So there's a
expensive.
Some
contribution.
do, some don't.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's a
okay.
contribution.
So you're
we
saying there's
don't.
no employee contribution?
No.
No.
And
Right,
and
so
no-
we pay the full contribution, whereas
and we-
other villages split it like a normal company does.
Yes.
Are we sure of that?
Well, you know,
We're
every,
making a statement.
different, no, I'm,
100%.
we did a research on that in the way beginning, and I do remember that. I mean, it could have changed by now, this is going back a couple of years ago. But some villages did, some villages didn't, but the ones that didn't only had like, it was like one person taking it. It was like one of the, it wasn't even, I think it was a trustee actually, when we looked
Trustee?
into it, yeah. That was taking it, wasn't even any of the employees.
No,
That
that's
option.
sure.
They had that option.
Right, okay.
Budget more than this,
What?
The board makes up the budget. I mean, the county.
It's done already.
Yeah, I'm saying, yeah.
No, but when you,
Long
when you
done.
figure out the
No, I know,
budget,
it's
you
done
do the
last year.
salaries, you always put in the increase, because you're hoping that you're gonna give your employees an increase.
Of course, I understand budget.
So,
Trustees,
but-
you can move it, you can move monies from one
Of
budget
course.
area to another.
Exactly.
That's another possibility.
That's.
But I kind of agree with Kevin, we have to set like a precedence, we can't just go randomly pick who we want to give a $10,000 or $5,000 raise to. It's gotta be set in increments.
I mean, if we're gonna go and spend an extra $10,000 on something, maybe what we should do is bring in.
Another code enforcer.
Well, that we need. It was
Well, not
budgeted
even
for the
that.
whole
I'm thinking,
year.
Like, if we want to stay in the payroll vein for a moment, it'd be better to bring in somebody who can actually help set objectives and measurements for people for the year going forward to get them where they want to go, so that they have something to build on going forward.
You mean like give them like people come and give them classes and stuff,
No.
like
No,
get
no, no,
registered,
somebody to
like
sit down,
certificates?
somebody to sit
or-
down with Leslie and say, okay, these people work for you, What are the if they want to get a 5% raise next year, what do they need to do? What makes sense? What's reasonable to expect? And how do they demonstrate it in an objective way, not just because Leslie felt like they got it, but they did X, Y, and Z, right? And it's a fair measure. They know that if they accomplish those goals, this is what they're going to get. You know, and it's not subject to whims. It's not subject to how somebody feels about somebody that particular day. It's subject to, or how somebody feels when they got out of bed that morning. It's subject to
I
very
think that's a
specific
pretty,
and
I think
measurable
that, I
things.
understand where you're going with that, and that's fair. I
I
just
agree.
find with the, we don't have that many employees here, and to set this standard maybe a little more difficult.
Part of
than
the code
enforce it.
enforcement too. You
Number
can't
of
say
tickets,
enforce the
right.
code
No.
more or issue more
Sure.
tickets. I mean, you get this ethic
I mean,
issues
these-
too.
and these
We're only
salaries
talking
are
about
not
four
unions,
employees.
Right, but you can set things like availability,
Yeah, you could
Yeah,
do
sure.
some
customer
criteria.
service scores. I mean, there's other things we can be doing
Yeah.
to measure effectiveness,
Mhm.
you know? Because we're in a customer service business, right? These are our customers, so.
So none of these increases are in our budget, is what you're saying?
We don't know.
Yeah.
Let's find
did-
let's get the answer.
We did
I'd
leave
imagine it
money
must
in
be something, it must be
contingency.
something.
We
And
left-
Mr. Tony just brought up a good point. When
Yeah.
you put together a budget, you
We
can
left
move
money-
things within the budget.
We made sure there was money in our contingency fund, yes, we did.
Well, remember, we only have $65,000 in surplus, so whatever we can pick up will be important.
Correct. We can start,
Are there budget lines that are statutory that we can't touch?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So we should highlight those as well,
okay.
just so we know what.
No, I'll do some work on the budget for you.
So either way, it's gotta go on next month's,
It has
this
to be
month's
on,
agenda. I
right,
meant like next week's
Thursday.
Yeah, well,
agenda.
this is what we're trying to
Right.
decide now.
But, so we can't agree upon doing the 3% across the board. You guys wanna do more? Is that what you,
No, I
or
mean,
you wanna look at
I
the budget
say-
first?
No, I don't have to look at the budget. I feel strongly about Sharon, and that's my opinion. So if, if we take, when it comes time to vote, we vote on how we feel.
So I got a
right?
question for you.
Yes, sir.
We have another, obviously, we're gonna be writing the budget again early next year.
Yeah.
What if it was the right thing to do to give percentages across the board, then revisit the issue during the budget? And if you have an exception where you like Sharon, or you could make that, rather than a percentage increase, make a salary increase,
Yeah.
and build it right into the budget. This way, because if we don't do it tonight, it's not gonna happen, right away. You're gonna have to have another work session to talk about the real numbers. So you may
No, I
want to do
think we
something
should
now.
discuss this tonight,
No,
that's
and
what
I
we're here
think-
for,
and
yeah,
I think-
definitely.
If I can just add this, one of the things, and I think you felt strongly about this, just to remind you, that looking at Kareem's salary, it's very far from a living wage.
Well, she brought that up a
I
year
did.
ago.
I know you
I
did,
did bring it
so-
up a year ago, and I was told that you had to do an evaluation before you gave him a raise. So did we do an evaluation on him? Did somebody talk to him? Because that was the reason you said I couldn't give him that I brought it up, and you said
Well,
the
this
table
is,
did because of that.
this is the time that the
So
discussion
was
was
it,
had.
yeah, but was there an evaluation?
No.
An assessment, definitely.
Mhm.
It's
You
been
did do an
assessed.
assessment?
Not a formal evaluation, but his work ethic, everything's been assessed.
So you're all happy with him? Because when I talked to you the last time, you said that you were not.
No, I
Okay.
I think his salary is way too low, and particularly in a
that was
position like
my-
that,
listen.
it opens the door to so many different things, and I
I-
think.
Well, we hired him at that level, right, as a
But
trainee.
he was a trainee,
Oh,
had
let
no
me
experience,
just-
no certification.
Okay,
Can I just mention
that's
one
fair.
thing that the
I
board
absolutely
doesn't know?
agree.
I have to mention one thing at this juncture that the board doesn't know, because I'm gonna send out a letter. In dealing with the civil service over the past several weeks, I found out that a prior administration had written a letter to civil service to call camp.
I think that was what, 2007?
2007,
Right.
wrote a letter saying that the Village of Manorhaven only wants code enforcement trainees. Now, they have set salaries for people in different positions, and this is the salary level for a trainee. The important thing to realize is that he has completed his training. He will be moved from trainee to regular code enforcement officer. But I think it's important, or if you think it's important, I don't even want to give my opinion. If you think it's better to be able to apply to civil service and get somebody with more experience, then we need to try to reverse that. And I have been told by my contacts at civil service that that's a very difficult thing to do.
I think we should
And I
definitely, I think we should definitely try to get, not a trainee, but we should get somebody
Correct.
who's very knowledgeable.
But that's why
One of
I
our
found
biggest
out.
problems here.
I agree, and you know, one of the things, when Kareem started, we did have a full-time superintendent of buildings and somebody that could train him. The other thing that
Well, he had experience with him. You talk about Mike.
Mike,
Well, Mike just left July 1st, so he did have.
no,
a
I'm saying,
benefit
but
of-
right now, we don't have that luxury, so if we're to get another code enforcement
I also
officer.
think Kareem has been here long enough where I don't think he needed Mike on top of him all the time.
Oh, no, he doesn't, what I'm saying is.
I
And
think
not
he's
only that,
become
I
that
think
experience.
we have-
Right, and so what I'm thinking
Correct.
is,
You
why
do
don't
have-
we hire another trainee where Kareem can now train,
I don't think
oversee
he's
him?
ready for
I
that.
don't know.
I don't think he's
We
ready.
need somebody.
did have a
The
meeting
village
with
is
him.
screaming for code enforcement.
He's
The
not really
village
ready
is
for
screaming
that.
for.
I don't
code
know, I
enforcement.
had a meeting with him the other day, and I really thought he knew his codes back and forth. He didn't have to even open the book. I thought he knew exactly what he was doing.
But he focuses primarily on parking, grass being too
I
high.
disagree.
Okay,
I'm
but
just saying, I
that's
see
just a
his
little
sheet, his
direction,
worksheet.
that's all he needs, a little direction.
Well, that's.
Well, that's why we think that maybe somebody a little bit more experienced.
I
might
will
be-
send a letter to civil service, we can fight for it, we can push for it. I'm just saying that they said, I was told, that
I'm
it's
just saying that we'd
difficult.
probably maybe be able to get another trainee and then a part-time trainee on top of that, depending on the salary, so then we'd have three, and then maybe Kareem could train them all. That's what I was
I think we
thinking.
need an experienced code enforcement.
All right, I'm gonna send the letter in, we'll see what happens with that. I can put in for,
Well, the letter you
I
can
just
see.
really want someone on the weekends and at nights, that's
Yeah,
what
Well,
we
you can
agree.
do that, you
We
can do
agree
that.
that.
So I was
100%.
hoping
There's
that
no
if the
problem.
money
We
didn't work
agree.
out in the budget, that's what I was trying to figure out.
Leslie, you requested civil service.
Let's not worry about budget, let's see what we need.
80%, you got a rejection letter from civil service on July 24th.
correct, but guess what? Forget about that, because
Well,
I've been in touch with them,
No,
and I had,
Let me make my point.
we are now allowed to hire a full, I've been talking to them and pushing them. I had asked for the part-time, they wanted us to have a full-time, and that's why it was rejected.
That's what
So-
reason number 3 means?
So, we are allowed, I just have been on the phone with them almost every day this week, and they have given us clearance to hire a full-time superintendent of buildings.
Is that a civil service job?
It is a civil service.
That's
No,
exempt.
no, I'm sorry, that's exempt.
that's exempt,
Superintendent
yeah.
is exempt.
That's what I meant.
So I've written also, which we can get into later, I wrote a description of what the person's job duties will be, but I'll push that off.
Why didn't we go that the first time? When Mike left, why didn't we replace him exactly as his job description, with building?
Because I was taking direction from the board, so now I put it in for both. I put in for part-time, they rejected us. They were holding on to the full-time, they accepted us. And that's what it is.
So now we're gonna get a full-time
That's
Building.
superintendent of buildings who
That's
will
what you've
also
asked.
be able to do code enforcement.
We
That's-
originally got the part-time superintendent, if you remember,
Which one, who's he?
It's John Orsona we have now.
our John Orsona.
No, that was the 1 day a week.
Right, but the
Yeah.
only reason why we got him was in the meantime, because there were so many jobs pending, we needed somebody here. So
Exactly.
until we figured out what we were gonna do.
Well,
Exactly.
my point is that I don't think we discussed it as openly as we are now. Why didn't we just hire a guy to replace Mike from July 1st forward? Look for a
We
superintendent.
were kind of on hold from July 1st.
Yeah.
All right, so let's just go on from here. That's what we're
Yes,
gonna,
your question, do we
I
say-
think we're agreed now that we
We
would
had money
want.
there, because of Mike's not here, do we have money that we could use
The
for the
money
salary?
The
Probably.
remainder of Mike's salary.
Yeah.
I would
We
think
may
so.
have money there. but maybe we
Yeah,
should.
oh, that's right, because
We
we
got
have
plenty of money there if you take the
June,
numbers.
July, August, September, October, November, we've got 6 months' worth of money. So we
Maybe
could
there's
give it.
I don't think it's money, I
raise.
think it's philosophy much.
I agree. I like to give people who work hard and deserve.
Yeah, but you're,
So you got a budget?
we're gonna just keep arguing about this, because I
I
don't
know,
agree.
I know.
Because I
So
think
do
you're
what you-
selective, you're being selective on who you wanna
Okay.
pay.
Well, because some people do better jobs than others.
Well,
That's
that's
the way,
Listen,
that's
I
the
have
American
to-
way.
You know what,
Okay.
I have to just say, I'm
Everybody
in
gets
the
an A.
office on a day-to-day basis, I'm running the office, I see how everybody works, and I will say that we're very lucky to have people that come
I
to work,
agree.
that show up to work, that really try to work as a team, and it's very hard because we split up the duties. And I wouldn't say somebody works harder than somebody else. I have to tell you.
Okay, so let's
You
give
know,
them.
I think that, that we're
I
all in
suggested,
there
last
really
year I
very hard.
suggested giving Kareem a $10,000 raise. And I'm sure you all feel that's way too much, right?
So my only suggestion is if you hire a new superintendent,
Right.
we should have an architect test them on his ability to read, or her ability to read plans.
Absolutely.
It's critical, it's been a shortfall in the village.
Oh,
The
absolutely.
superintendent building has to understand plans, he has to be trained in reading plans.
Absolutely.
Did Mike have that background?
He did,
He did, okay.
I would step up my game a little bit.
His-
Not that he did a bad
his
job.
position as
but-
chief code enforcement.
Do we get a chance
is
to
pretty
interview these people, or are they just
Should.
foisted on us?
Sure. We're gonna, first we have to decide, and if you would, take this home, I put this together, I want you to review it, don't do it now, I want you to see if, we can reword it, if there's something else that you think should be in here. I wanted to have a starting point for all of you, then we have to decide where we should advertise for that person, okay?
So if we are getting some people, who does the interviewing? Can we all be in on the interviewing, or is it just one person that does the interview?
It's usually me.
Just one
It's usually
person?
me.
I would like to make a resolution that there be at least 2 people, or maybe even 3 people to interview
You
these
don't need to
people.
make a resolution for everything, you can just ask if you want to be part of that interview.
I could be a part of the interview?
I said you
Who's the
could just
liaison?
ask.
Who's the liaison? Why don't you have the liaison? do it?
Right.
Well, we have to discuss.
We haven't
that.
discussed that yet.
So whoever the
Well,
liaison
Rena's
is.
the liaison to the.
But I just suggest bring an
Not yet,
architect,
so-
bring Juan Mazzano down.
But, I don't see a problem that if they have some interviews, sending out an email and whoever's available.
We
to
can
come.
I
definitely
agree.
let everybody
No
know what the
question, no
interview
question.
Whoever
is.
can show up
Okay,
can show up, because
yeah.
I know if you make it during the day, I won't be able to, and I know Kevin won't be able to, so at least,
We're not architects, I think you should definitely have an architect
I
there.
agree.
I agree.
And test them.
I agree.
Okay, read this plan, tell me, if we assume this amount of,
No question about
side
that.
variance,
No question.
tell me
Right.
what's wrong
That's
with
why I
this
want
this
an
plan.
interview. I want to make sure that they can do
They
their
gotta be
job.
tested.
Just need to talk to their references. where they
Okay,
came from.
so everybody will look this over, I don't need feedback
I
now.
have a question.
Yes.
Okay, so this is because we're talking about a bunch of different issues right now. So
We are, and I'm sorry I wasn't gonna get.
Superintendent,
Yeah,
okay? So we
Yes.
have numbers on what the going rate for superintendents are. What is the living wage for a superintendent these days?
well, that's a very good question.
What do we
And my
pay
second
Mike?
part of the question is, where does Mike's salary
Right.
fit next to that? Is there a gap?
my problem
We
is
did have a
too-
chart, Leslie.
We
I
do,
know the
but
chart.
I just have to tell you though too, that when they start referencing, like, Leslie, I'm not making fun of you, I'm just going to bring yours to example because you had it. When you reference the salaries to other clerks in the villages nearby, like Flower Hill, I mean, that's a big gap.
It's whoever responded to my
Yeah, but I know, but I'm
inquiry.
just saying, Flower Hill, Kings Point, I mean, yes, I know the like neighboring villages, but we can't really compare, right?
What does Baxter
I
say?
mean, unless we find out what their, but
They
I'm sure
can
their budget is
answer,
much
the
higher
people
than
that
ours.
answered,
Same point.
So when
Got it.
you research, because I'm having that same problem,
Yep.
because that's what I was doing, I was researching salaries
okay,
online. I came up with New Hyde Park, just for
It's a big one.
example.
Okay.
Which I figured was,
It's a
median
bigger figure.
income, it's bigger village,
Much bigger.
But who's to say that the superintendent at New Hyde Park is the right salary for Manorhaven? And I think it's really based upon the person's experience. So are you just trying to get like a reference and like, let's say,
Yeah, I'm looking for an order of magnitude, because you still
Right,
have to hire a
60,000 a
person.
year,
If
80,000
we're
a
gonna
year.
offer here, right, and everywhere else is paying here,
we're not gonna get
very
anywhere.
we're not gonna get very far,
No.
right? So we have to be competitive. We have to be competitive. If you want good people, you gotta be competitive. So what is competitive? We don't even know. That's my point. And my point, I think we need to understand, like, what is a reasonable salary? I don't wanna offer, we don't wanna come across looking like we don't know what we're doing,
Right.
you know? Let's
well,
figure out what competitive
all I
is.
can say to you, I know Mike left and went to the town and is making either the same thing or $1,000 or $2,000
Different job, though,
more.
right? Different job.
I mean,
So-
bigger.
Well, he's an
way bigger.
inspector.
Well, it's a
there.
bigger,
It's the same
it's a
thing. He's making the
bigger
same salary.
municipality,
What
but it's.
did Mike get paid?
budget.
More?
50-something.
50-something, I know it was 50-something.
Yeah.
You also gotta calculate the benefits package. I don't know if Mike was
Right.
getting it, because his wife was.
Right, well,
You
then
you
Well,
got a
one
$25,000
I
was
think
salary.
you have to assume if you're hiring somebody, when you're budgeting, you have to factor in they're gonna be taking the benefits. Because we don't know the candidate yet, so we can't assume the other way and assume they won't.
Well, assume they're going to, but it's probably around 25,000 minimum.
And if they don't, do they get the difference?
No.
No, because you're offering a salary, and that's,
Right.
you're right, the salary and the budget are two different things. All right, so we're offering a salary. If they don't take the benefits, we all got lucky,
Okay.
right? That's money that can be used for other things. But
But can we
But
go
again,
back?
then again, every year, they're gonna have open enrollment, they'll have an opportunity to change that decision,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
things change.
Right?
Can we
So-
go back then now
Have to over, yeah.
to our, what we're gonna do about greens, Nancy, Sharon, and Liz.
We were talking a lot around it. We have to
Yeah.
come up with a,
So Rita, what do you think Kareem should get? You're gonna be in charge of code.
I kind of agreed with what Kevin said,
Which
kind of
is,
bring him up and do, even though it's still a percentage higher than everybody else, doing the 4% for Kareem, and then doing 3% down the line. Isn't that what you said? I'm just reiterating, it just made sense to me.
I'm not opposed to giving Kareem a bigger raise, and I'm not
Yeah.
opposed to giving anybody a bigger raise. But I think your starting point needs to be something like this. If Kareem has earned a set of certifications that we haven't paid him for earning, right? If you want to
oh,
define a
you don't have to
milestone.
convince me. I think he
and say-
deserves more than 4%, so I'm with you.
But I'm saying, but we have to determine something that's reasonable. It can't just be this arbitrary, like, we like Kareem today, so we're gonna give him more money, because that's not fair to everybody else,
I agree.
Exactly.
right?
I agree.
Right, so,
there we go,
so,
another voice, sir.
so I think if, we come up with criteria that
I
they need to,
agree.
if there's something.
Well, that's why I don't
Is there
feel
a
bad giving
clerk
him another.
certification that
Right.
Sharon can earn, right?
I see what you're saying, right?
And we can say to her, look, we're giving you this percentage, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you were to earn this other, what, then
Whatever
we'll,
classes or
yeah, we'll
whatever.
Yeah, she
commit.
is working
that's-
towards her CMC, so.
So when she earns
that's-
it, maybe we can come up with either a bonus for earning it, or,
I agree with
a
that.
promise, like, in the year that you earn that, whatever everybody else is getting, you're getting 3% on top of that.
Mhm.
So if it's 3, you get 6, if it's 4, you get 7. And you can do that for virtually everybody. But you have to set it
I did that for me
to,
at the town, I got my CMC, RMC.
Does Kareem get more education?
Yes, he did,
Yeah.
he did.
Oh, you mean further than what he
Yeah,
has?
yeah.
There's always classes coming up that he can take, especially in civil service.
No, he's
They'll
in
offer-
classes now, he takes
Right.
them at night. Yeah.
So there's always,
We did
there's
try with
always.
Kareem
one
with us
senior,
for
as a
next, he did
matter of
really well,
fact.
he testified, he's very professional.
Yes, I
So
think so
Kevin,
too.
would you write a list of what you're talking about for each person for next year?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I can come up with ideas,
Right.
right?
Yeah, and then we'll talk about them.
Right.
That's good.
But I think
Criteria.
as far as moving this along, I mean, what Rita and I were just sort of agreeing on was, you have to start
4%.
somewhere. Yeah, because, I mean, money's a problem for us. It's not
Yeah.
like we have a lot of it. And we know we need to hire a superintendent. We know we need some additional code enforcement, right?
No question.
So,
Okay,
All right,
so where are we?
okay,
Is
so,
there any resolutions you need for the next meeting?
Yep.
I just want to move on to.
Are we writing a resolution to increase 4%? We want to do it.
That's what I would say.
Yeah.
And I don't know
Is
if
it- Is
they,
everyone, only if everybody agrees?
Sure.
All right, so the resolution.
I don't agree with it,
I don't agree, but you all have the
We'll,
majority.
we'll have a resolution, we'll vote at the board level.
what's the
well,
alternative?
he's
Why-
writing
Plan
the
B.
resolution. That's why he's
Well,
asking how he should
my
write it.
feeling is, that I think Kareem deserves at least 4%. I wouldn't
did.
give Nancy Green a raise.
I'm sorry, you wouldn't know
We're
what?
not.
And why is that?
I think she's been a problem employee. She deals with the people in kind of a,
Mr.
Can you
Trustee
tell them to
Urbina?
be quiet?
Priscilla? Trustee Urbina, just address me.
I just don't think she deserves a raise.
I disagree, I think she works.
Okay, well,
That's
we'll
fine.
vote.
That's-
Well,
Right.
That's
So-
it.
so
We're
Jim,
talking about it, so I'm
can we
letting you know
have
that
So you have
a
to do
case-
each one separately.
Separate, yeah, 4 motions.
Yeah.
4 motions. 4% for Kareem, 3 for Nancy, 3 for Sharon, and 3 for Leslie, and then we'll vote on from there, they can vote
Yeah,
yes or
because I really
no.
believe that Sharon should get
I mean,
4.
can I just ask you this from a legal standpoint? Do you have an articulable basis of giving everybody a raise and holding one out, saying Nancy Green? When you have a body or a municipal body authority, you can't, and I'm just telling you, at point of law, and I'm addressing this to anybody, it can't be arbitrary and capricious, otherwise you subject the village to an Article 78. So if you're gonna make a decision that you're gonna do for all of them, and because maybe somebody doesn't like Nancy and they don't wanna give her a raise, you gotta state an
Fair.
articulable
That's-
basis for
that's
that.
fair.
I agree.
And you have to be fair, so if they didn't like the way, maybe she smirked at somebody, maybe somebody doesn't like it, but what I think that, what I see, and I work with her a little bit with the courts, and I think she works really hard, and I think she hasn't had a raise in 2 years either, and so you gotta have a real reason, she doesn't show up on time.
No, I have to say,
And I
have to
and I
say,
agree, she's
running-
here on
running
time,
the
and she works
office,
hard, and
Okay.
She hears
And I
on, she's
deserve
here on
her.
So put it in,
time.
I'll
All right,
vote.
that's good.
That's
She
fine.
works
I
hard.
understand your point,
She's
yeah.
really helped get a
That's it.
lot of JCAP grants for the
Right.
village, and she really does her share.
Okay, we all agree.
all right, so you have that?
Is it still 4 resolutions, or is it 1?
Yes.
4.
4.
Can I also recommend that Sharon be given the 4%? Is that fair?
Yeah, I really think she should. But that's
We
just 2 of us.
We
so
just
if we
discussed
all
giving
go-
her 3%, and now you, I mean, are you,
Well,
Did you not-
okay.
No,
that's
you're
fine.
right.
Sharon here.
It's fine, it's fine.
All right.
we
so
were
it's
saying
good.
4, 3, 3.
Okay, go for
We said how we feel, but that's okay.
So
You
then
all
we'll
feel
discuss
free,
it at
that's
the meeting,
fine.
but that's fine, just draft the resolution.
So it's 4, so you got 4% on, the zoning there, on Kareem.
I'm
Three,
for
three,
3%,
three.
Everybody else.
Nancy, 3 for Sharon, and 3 for Leslie.
And if, by the way.
Oh, and don't forget Chris.
Oh, Chris and,
Michael.
And then we
That's-
have to.
We got that.
That we already
I
did.
got that.
Yeah, we did.
So just,
Make sure.
instead of doing a blanket vote, if you're going to decline a particular employee, just make sure there's an articulable basis.
I see.
So that the village doesn't get sued because somebody
That's
says
a
I've
fair
been
point.
left out.
That's a fair point.
Okay,
I got it.
we're done.
Okay,
Okay, just give me a minute, 1 second. So, I know Kareem had a class this evening, but he wanted to brief the board on a few things. He's running late.
Yep, we're following you.
Something else.
That's right. I'm just,
Don't look at the doors.
when I'm here.
We have a lot.
I'm moving on to the curb, so I want to say how disgusted I am about this newsletter that was circulated, that is actually from you, Priscilla, and Gately.
I don't think Kevin's in there, actually.
No,
know
I
Tom's
just
not
wanted to
charged.
say that using village resources for private political purposes is
Wait,
inappropriate.
wait.
The reason why I'm bringing this
What
up is because,
resource?
just let me finish.
All right.
Your village emails are on the back of this flyer,
Okay.
okay?
That's
So
how
you
that's how
circulate.
people contact.
All right, but we also, I contacted.
Hey, you know what, can I just say
And
something?
I wanted to say something, because
Go
this
ahead.
was distributed here. And you sent, obviously, included photos with our DPW and inspection. Just so you know, there was a newsletter, and I want to pass it around. Can you please pass this down?
Rita, just to correct your
For
statement,
spring 2005, I don't mean to throw this on you, can you please pass this to
Kevin Gately did agree with that newsletter.
But it was very clear, this is our village
Okay,
newsletter,
okay,
in
okay.
2015, it was very clear that the curbs are the responsibility of the homeowner. So I want you to take a moment and read this.
No, we know that. We
Because you
understand
certainly
that.
understand
So we have to
Okay.
enforce the
I just
code.
want to make that clear.
Still doesn't.
The other issue, I'm not finished yet, 1 second, please. The other issue was, in this newsletter, and I continually bring this up, is Port Plumbing's trailers, whatever your issue is with Port Plumbing, and I don't know, but this was an inspection report done by Abramsky. I'm sorry, I can't give you this, is the last one we'll share. All right, and it clearly says here, the property is located on the E1 district, has been determined that these are not trailers, but storage containers. The storage containers in question are in compliance with our code.
Well, I think we have to
And
change
this
the code.
was distributed to you last board
I
meeting,
think we
but
have
you
to
still, wait,
Change the
you still
code.
went ahead and distributed this to all the
Right.
residents.
You know,
And I think it's
honestly,
unfair to do to him as a business owner, and I see here also, I observed Jayco Plumbing. You know, we're supposed to be helping our business owners, but by putting.
I'm
them
talking
in-
about code enforcement.
And,
I'm
yeah,
talking
this is
about-
code. We're talking about code,
And
we're
you
talking
say-
about inspection reports, and I'm talking about how disgusting this newsletter is, and we're supposed to be working
And
together.
that-
So I wanted to just clarify that.
And that Port, Jocko Plumbing, whatever it is, that's a real eyesore, right off of Manorhaven
But I
Boulevard.
don't think you needed to put in his.
Jim,
his-
Priscilla, and Kevin, I didn't see a picture of you, so I assumed you weren't involved. I guess I didn't read it closely enough. I said, but honestly, we're supposed to be working together, and I feel like all the effort you put and the money you put into this, you could have just come to us and we can sit around like this and work on it.
Well, let's do
We
it.
gave a
I
full,
mean,
we
I
gave a full.
just think this is really, it just really bothers me. I think this is really upsetting. I said,
Okay.
we're supposed to work together as trustees, and I feel like you divide and conquer here. That's what you guys are trying to do. And this is what I feel about you divide and conquer. Honestly, I'm so upset with that. No, it's not for an applause, please don't applaud. It's just very upsetting. I'm trying my best here to work with everybody at this table, and then this comes in the mail, it's the Priscilla and Jim Avina show. It really
Well,
is.
you-
And you want to do some good? Okay, fine. We'll pick the liaisons, we'll do it. But you don't need to spread it and send your pictures and then go to people's houses and drop off pictures of things that you should be doing.
All right, or I
All
don't even
those
have.
cold pictures, all these pictures you took? No, honestly, all these pictures you took, bring them to the village and let's solve
We
them.
put 'em
No,
all here.
okay,
We did.
They came
okay.
in at that meeting.
Okay,
Oh,
but
we
going
said-
to residents and showing them the pictures of things that trustees should be handling? Would you want the residents to handle it?
No,
Let's go to the residents,
like-
let them come here and handle, I mean, what was the point of
And I'm
that?
sorry, these curbs that you put in this newsletter is Nassau County, it's
I
not even our
just feel like
jurisdiction.
we're constantly at a battle because of
It's
this
ridiculous.
propaganda that you sent out. I don't know if it's for political gain. I'm not here for any political reason. I'm here for the residents. I thought that's what you guys were here for too. But it doesn't seem that way. That seems like you're running next month. The election's June 2016. That's when that should have came out if you wanted to,
Well, we could
not
use,
now.
we could use the newsletter, like was done last year, with a special report for the deputy mayor. All of a sudden, we got every newsletter.
Did you not see the email what I said about the newsletter?
And it
And
wasn't
Sharon
political, it
responded
was
to everybody?
informative.
I made sure that if anybody wanted to
No, I
put something in the
understand that. I
newsletter,
understand
that was the time to do it.
But
And
that-
Sharon said she contacted,
But
and
that
you
was
had
never the
something in
thing-
there,
that-
and you
What
had
are you
something in
talking-
there.
What are you talking
The
about?
newsletter that they're sending out now.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't either, but she.
We haven't
informed
done
me.
it
We're
yet.
working on it.
They're working on it, but I wanted to make sure if you had anything
Because
to put in there.
historically, the board was never given, were you given a copy of the newsletter before it went out?
Never,
No, thank
but I
you.
understand that. But
Okay, that's all.
I always inform, when they're sending out a newsletter, I always contact them and say, do you have room if there's something I want to add?
Okay, we're doing it backwards.
Okay, well, if I wanted to put something in there, and that's why I sent the newsletter, that's why I sent the email out, stating, if anybody had anything, did I not,
We
Leslie?
said that
Please
too.
contact and see
Yes,
what
you
we
did.
can
And I mean,
do.
And you know what I wrote back to you? I said, I've already spoken to Leslie about that, and they've agreed. So
But then
I'd
there's-
already had said that.
Then what's this, your own little newsletter?
Well, it seems to be a little,
Okay, wait, I'm gonna send mine out next week. Mine's going out next week. My little
You're
newsletter's going
perfectly
out.
entitled.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
It's very divisive, I think, because
okay.
I'm
We-
just.
I just
So we move
honestly,
on?
yes, we are. I just
Okay.
wanna let you know, I just feel like you're dividing here.
Okay.
I'm trying my best to keep everybody grouped together. We all are.
Well,
We're
let's
all
talk about
trying to
the
work
issues.
together,
Okay, so
and I
let's
just
go.
feel.
Let's go.
We have 40 items on a to-do list here.
Yeah, you
Well,
know
They're
what?
not getting done this
Every
evening because we're doing as much as we can.
every village has 100 items on their
No, they
to-do
don't.
list.
We have the
Yes, they
same
do.
ones. How about blowing out the sewer line? We talked about that for 3 months, and we haven't done it yet.
Okay,
Okay.
and then we get, this is what happens, Jim. We get the proposals from Leslie, and we argue over that, and nothing gets done.
Well, that has
listen,
nothing to do with the
let's go. Right
newsletter.
now, let's go. Let's
That
just
has nothing to do
go.
with the
Let's start
newsletter.
working, okay?
Well, listen, this is the agenda we have before us this evening, and this is what we're working on.
Well, why don't you ask us to
Okay.
submit items to put on the
We're
agenda?
getting to as many
Again, we
things as
had
we can.
Mr. B's office
Just
briefed us
get
on
it.
our litigation. So this is it.
Okay, what's next?
We're moving on to, I guess, well, Corinne is not here to do the inspection report.
I can do a
Leslie,
couple
just
of
brief
report, let me do a
on the
couple of
DPW
mine.
and the preserves. please.
I'll do a couple of those, and hopefully Kareem will be back from his class.
Right.
One of the calls I got was, in the past month, was that there was concrete that was thrown in the preserve. I checked with the town, they had done some curb work. I thanked them for the phone call, and got it removed from the inspector at the town of North Hempstead, at which point now it comes out in a newsletter. Again, I appreciate when everybody's eyes are out
That
there.
concrete is
concrete is there
gone?
for a long time, Leslie.
Is it
There was
gone?
weeds all over it. So we pointed it out.
Okay.
And action was taken. Somebody had to point it out.
It was in the,
Stop.
that was in the trail.
Stop with the we. Stop. It's
Well,
not
come
me.
on,
No,
read it,
no,
read
no,
it,
no, no.
read it.
You're being, no,
Okay,
no,
okay,
Jim, you
okay,
are.
yeah.
No, you are. It's
Okay.
not the we.
That's not the thing.
Us. We all trying to help you.
So can I just
Okay.
ask, is the concrete
So-
gone now?
Well, maybe I don't know which concrete, but I
No,
know
it's
the
that big
con-
slab, and it cannot be removed by the DPW.
It's too heavy.
Oh,
It's
you're
too
talking-
heavy, it's been there
something that's
forever.
been there
It's in
for
the- yeah,
100
it's in the middle
years.
of our
Okay,
trail.
I thought you were talking about from when they did the storm drains and they had.
So
Well,
what
that
are
was
we
a
gonna
different
do about the
situation, that was the
contract?
town of.
It's gotta be
Hempstead.
either chopped up or lifted up into like a dump truck, and we don't have that equipment.
So what are we gonna do about it?
We'll leave it there.
No, we're not gonna leave it there.
You-
We're gonna
you
come up
have
with
to-
solutions.
you have to
We'll
put
have
out
to-
the
yeah, I'm
bids.
saying, you have to do
Right.
something.
We'll have to put it out for bid then to
You probably
remove
do a
it.
verbal line. 3 verbal.
Okay, I'll.
Just the
I'm
3 verbal, and then we
Yes.
vote on it?
How big is the concrete?
It's
Huge.
huge.
We'll take a picture, of it. We have a picture of it. Take a look.
Someone's got to break it up.
I don't know what year it's been. Okay, let me start.
Since I've been here.
One of the requests I had, I'm not sure, but I ran a report. Priscilla asked to know how much money has been spent on court reporting since 2013.
Thank you.
So I ran a report for everybody
Thank you.
to see what we spent on court reporting from 2013 to 2015. You each get a copy for your review, and
What's,
do that.
What's
as it
the
may.
reason why we're,
I just wanted to see it. I asked her for personally, she's giving it to everybody.
Just understand that the.
no, I just wanna know if there was a reason behind it, why we're looking at it. We
I'm
spent so
trying to
much
find
money.
out if how much to,
Well,
for
this
the
is
budget,
what-
whether we're within
Planning
budget or
board
not
and-
budget. It seems like we're doing a lot of court reporting. That was just a
Priscilla,
question I
the
asked.
planning
It was
board
a
and the
question,
BZA is reimbursed.
Priscilla just wanted a
I know.
simple report, not to be discussed at a work session.
It wasn't even.
No, no, no,
for-
you asked for it during the week.
I know,
got it
and I
to
expected you to give it to me that afternoon,
Okay.
but fine. If you want to give it to me this way, it's fine. Thank you. I appreciate it. I
Well,
appreciate it.
Well, I think a lot of the court reporting too, isn't some of it,
It's paid back. from
right, it's paid back.
Yep.
Well, you must have
Okay.
that in there, right?
I have another report to give to all of you. We got quotes, as you know, we're trying to redo Village Hall. We got a $50,000 grant from Senator Martin's office that, when I came into office, was on hold, dealt with his office to free up that money. And now we got 3 quotes to produce the construction drawings necessary to actually do the construction. So again.
Wait a second, we have a construction grant?
No, we have a grant
For?
to do the construction of the office. In order to construct the office, we need construction drawings.
Okay.
So we
So
got.
this is just for the office,
These
not
are
for the
just-
addition?
No.
I think
No,
so.
we said we're
Perfect.
probably
Prices.
not, yes, they are huge.
Huge.
If you see, a huge difference to do construction drawings just to redo the 2 parts of the office, the clerk side and the building department side. And that's just for the drawing. So we're hoping for you to review that, and we will put a resolution on when the board makes the decision and can discuss it at the board meeting on the 19th. The next,
Wait, I'd
Go
like to
ahead.
talk about this. Okay?
Sure.
Thank you. So as I understand it, the grant, which is $50,000, was to get rid of the mildew, right? To get new carpeting, to fix all the leaks or whatever it is you needed. I mean, the grant tells you what we need to do.
right,
Why would we need somebody, an engineer, to come to tell us how to refurbish the inside of the inside of our room?
Well, I think you're not following through the whole thing.
All right,
how
let
it
me find
started.
out. Okay.
Well, with the $50,000 grant, they were gonna have to do some construction.
What was the construction activity?
Well, you know, fixing the roof, the carpeting.
The roof is done, we
Right,
did the roof
but I'm just
already.
saying, with all that, so we decided to take that a little further and see how much of the offices we could do, because
and
there's
what
stuff.
we could do and what it would cost, and I was asked
It
to
was just
cost it
costing-
out.
it was
No,
just
I know,
pricing
but
it
I mean,
out.
what are we
This
gonna be doing
is
to it?
just for as-built drawings?
Mm-hmm.
Not as-built, as-built is the finish, this is the construction drawing,
Right.
what they have to do, and make sure that this building was built in the 30s, so
Right.
we've gotta,
So.
and we didn't even have
So
as-built
this-
drawings, so that was really the first step. When we looked in our files, we had no
So we
idea.
have as-built
We
drawings
have those
today.
now. We have those now,
Okay,
and
and
now
this
we
is
have to
just-
tell the contractor what they're supposed to do where.
Who did the as-bills?
JL drawings.
That's probably why his,
2,900.
why
That's
his
why
money.
he's familiar with them, that's why.
Right, because
That's
he's
why
got
his price is
everything
so
in his
cheap.
CAD system
Yeah,
already.
Right.
okay. All right?
Let's
But
confirm that. Let's confirm that that's why it's,
I think that's
It's
why,
so
because they're
different.
very familiar with the.
yeah, because he may already have it in
property.
his, in a CAD program and it's not, it's trivial for him to change it.
Okay, okay.
Not trivial, but,
I know what you're
whereas
saying.
the rest have to put it in a CAD
Right.
program.
Right.
So this is for a 10 by 20 story addition onto a commercial
And we
building?
may not be doing that, but we wanted to know what that would cost. So you remember at the
But
last
this
meeting?
can't come out of our $50,000, can it?
No, it can't,
But
but
didn't
we
we
don't
say
want.
that, didn't we say at the meeting last month, the BOT meeting, that to spend $75,000 now would be,
No, we would,
you know, to look at how much it cost, but we all agreed, off the top of our head, it'd be 50 to 75,000.
But we didn't
At
know,
least.
so you said to check into it because it
No.
doesn't pay to do it twice, no?
I thought,
It's-
okay, never mind, I just
it's
think
up
that
to you.
we have to focus, we as a
Okay.
group.
Well, when we were talking about the addition,
Yeah.
we said there's no way $50,000 is gonna cover it.
Right.
Because you have to do a foundation. and-
Right.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, that's why we said,
I don't
thought, to
understand how
pass.
this is in any way a function of our 50,000 that we got
No,
as a
no,
grant.
no.
It's not, right?
No.
It has nothing to do with that grant.
And I remember it the way you do, Kevin, where we said it's a lot of money, with more important things to
Can,
spend on
so
money.
just table it,
Yeah,
just
So
throw
I
it
think
away.
this should just be tabled.
Throw it away.
I won't throw it away, I'll keep
Okay.
it because someday.
You can keep it.
We agreed to
Let's
that.
just, let's move on. Here is a printout of the street festival that was requested. These are all of the.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, so these are all the costs.
Right, these were given out. at the
These were
last
given
meeting,
out, but
and
this is an
Sharon gave
update.
a presentation on,
Correct,
The only thing you didn't have on the last one was the actual salaries of.
correct. So we added what
We added
that
that, we
was
got that.
because
Thank
we
you.
didn't know.
Okay, that's good,
We got
done.
that.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
thank
done.
you.
I'd like to distribute now something from our accountant.
Well, can I ask a question? When we put together the work session, you asked us for our ideas of what we'd like to discuss.
Right,
And we gave
And
you
it's
our
an important
agenda.
idea, some things that we're talking about, for example, vision of Long Island. When are we
Okay.
gonna meet with the
all right,
vision of Long
Leslie, I
Island?
believe you were
All
in
right.
contact with Eric today.
well, there,
No, we haven't
yes,
met
I
with him
was.
yet.
Right,
Right, but you
Okay,
asked
let's
me to
go.
contact
Okay,
him.
let's go.
You also asked for how much money we have in the
Well, this
unknown
came to us in an email, why are you
So
giving it to us again?
$65,000, we know that.
Well, you gave it to us in an email, you
Why
don't
do we
have
pay
to.
fine.
all these papers?
I wanna
I
make
just
sure
she
already
just wants
know.
to make sure you
Listen,
got
a
it,
lot of
so-
times-
I get all my
I just wanted to
emails.
say
We
no.
got it, we're
Go
covering
ahead,
things we
go
covered
next,
already.
go
Wonderful.
next, go ahead, next.
Cover some new items.
Wonderful. All right, so, you know what, here's my,
Okay, here
Let's
are the
move on.
3 dates.
can I see what you have here?
We still don't have a date for vision.
I do have 3 dates.
We did this before, about 2 weeks ago, 3 days, but still not
How come we
responded
never
any
met on
to
that
it.
Friday? We all agreed on Friday. What happened to
Because Kevin
Friday?
couldn't meet on Friday. Not Kevin, Eric.
But that was
So
one of the
now-
days he gave us.
It didn't work. What can I tell you? I don't know.
No, because I think it was
Gave
the
us-
time, but it was
There
the
was the
time.
time, that
But
was
we've been
time.
talking about this for 3 weeks, and we still don't have a meeting. We have $25,000, and we've given them 15, they want
No,
to
it's
give 10,
15,
we
no.
have to give them another 15. And we haven't
It's
gotten any
15 in
results.
total.
We sat down here
Okay,
in May.
here are the dates.
I
I
agree.
spoke to him today. I spoke to him today, okay?
Good.
And they have a very big meeting, it's called Smart Growth Summit on Friday, November 20th, from 8 to 4 p.m. He would like to invite all of the board members.
But that's not gonna cover what we're looking at.
Here are the 3 dates.
Okay,
I
go,
want to just
go.
do what I told him I would
Leslie,
do.
what are the
I-
3 dates?
Excuse me,
Just
I
tell me,
told him I
yeah.
would say that, that if you want to go, he has tickets aside for you, I need to know. November 20th, 8 to 4 p.m. It's now on tape, so we know that you know about it.
Oh, wait, say, I'm
Wednesday-
sorry, say it again.
November 20th.
Friday,
But
November
this is a
20th.
big
Eight to
general
four.
meeting,
This is
right?
what this is.
Friday, November 20th, 8 to 4, Smart Growth Meeting.
As a matter of fact, I went to their smart growth meeting last year
I wanna know when
in
ours is.
November, and it was fantastic. So I'm definitely gonna go this time if I'm free. And I think we all should go because they had great ideas about roads. They had great ideas about the business section. They had wonderful ideas. You go to little tiny groups all during the day. It's a great thing to go to.
And because of this Smart Growth Summit, he is very pressed for time. So the next 3 dates that he can give us are Wednesday, November 25th, anytime between 8 and 11:30 a.m., or Tuesday, December 1st, 2 p.m., or an evening meeting, or
Wait, say
Wednesday,
that, the second one, what was it? 11 what?
11:25,
I got that, 8 to 11:30.
8 to 11:30 a.m., anywhere
Well,
in that
look at it
window.
like that.
Okay.
Tuesday, December 1st, 2 p.m., or he can do an evening meeting with the board. Or Wednesday, December 2nd, between 8 a.m. and 12 noon.
But we already brought this up, that Rita's working, Kevin's working. so
These
they
are the
can't meet.
only times he can
Then
do
we're never
it. So
gonna meet.
Tuesday, December 1st, in the evening.
We're
Is
gonna have to
the
do a Saturday.
evening. Is Tuesday, December?
That's fine with me.
Any
Saturday's
day
fine.
you want, I'm
I'm
in.
I'll do
open
Saturday
anytime.
There's 2 people, anytime, anywhere. Kevin's working, Rita's working, the mayor's working.
I'm
So the
telling
3
you,
of them have
his
to work it out with you.
windows,
But
how
we,
is,
we're the customer. We wanna meet with a guy who gave 25 grand to.
we didn't give 25,000,
15.
it's 15.
Okay, we all
How is
can.
December 1st for an evening meeting?
Is that a
It's a Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Who's that?
Everybody, get out your phones.
I'm ready.
Tuesday, December
Tuesday,
1st.
7 p.m.
7 p.m.?
I can't make it, I have
You
another
can't.
engagement, I'm sorry.
Really?
I could actually.
Whenever we have this meeting.
I said, do a Saturday morning,
I'm in.
I'm in
I
Saturday
will
morning.
ask him if he has a Saturday morning.
I'll do a Saturday morning,
I'll do a Saturday morning. Saturday morning? Saturday morning?
right?
I,
And
Make
I
it
think it's just
Saturday
easier
morning.
if we come
Is
here
this just
9
the additional
o'clock.
hour?
Just
Yeah.
with the, yeah, just,
I mean, let's,
Board members.
we sat here on a Saturday for 3 or 4 hours. Everybody put their ideas, they put all this white paper around.
That
They
was in
wrote down
April.
30.
That
Now
was in
we're
April.
sitting here, we have no feedback as to what we should do. We knew the 35 problems before we had that meeting, and it's the same
but they're
35.
coming, they're not the same in what they're
Well,
doing.
pretty much they are, 90%.
Well, that's why the Smart Growth Meeting summit might be a very, very,
But we want to talk about what their recommendations were for the village.
The
I
Manorhaven.
understand, but
Well,
I
that's the
think
most
when-
important thing.
Okay.
So back to the drawing board, let's put vision down, we're gonna see if we can meet on a Saturday,
December 1st.
anytime. Let's look at our Saturdays, is there any Saturday nobody can meet? Look at Saturdays.
Leslie,
Was
when's
this an
the
informal
tree
meeting
lighting?
with Vision?
Yes.
This is- you don't
I
require
don't think
council.
everybody even has to be here if you don't wanna be here, it's just,
You don't have to be
Leslie,
there.
do you remember the tree lighting, what date we
Yes.
set for that?
Saturday
It's
morning,
December
though.
3rd,
3rd, okay,
but that's a Thursday.
it's a Thursday. So that, we have the 5th. That's,
I was trying to do it sooner, but then I just realized it's right around the corner is Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
I know, I didn't realize that.
Well, the 25th is the day before Thanksgiving.
I'm available every single Saturday, any Saturday you want.
Second, you as well.
I will ask him if he can come on a Saturday.
So if it's not a Saturday, then what alternative do we have? None.
Right now, December 1st, to get it done for an evening meeting.
We did 30.
I
so
believe
you
it.
can-
And you know what, I
Can't
can
make it.
catch up.
Pardon me?
Rita, what time is your event on the 1st?
7.
Your event is at 7?
So why don't we start the meeting
So why don't we
at 6?
start at 6? Can you make it at
Can you make
6?
Is it only the board?
It is,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Then we can do it earlier. I mean, she gets out at 2, I get out at 3. Can you get out earlier?
On the
On the 1st.
Tuesday, December 1st.
right.
We
That
make
was
it
one
5
thing.
o'clock, 4:30?
If
That's
we're
what
all
I'm
meeting,
thinking.
it has to be advertised, right? Even though it's with vision.
I don't think you have to, do you?
no, I think if.
No,
we're
we're discussing
having
his
a
contract,
presentation
right.
of
We're
the-
discussing his contract that, it's.
Well, he said 2 PM or evening. When does Eric
He
say
had
evening
from,
start?
he said from 2 PM and he had to finish by 10 PM. So
So from 2 PM.
from 2 PM
I'm
on,
thinking
he
you
had
can
a
get out like
window.
4:35, 36,
Give us 2 hours, we could do 4:30? 4 to 6, 4:30, 6:30.
Let's do
4:30, 6:30?
4:30 to 6:30, I'll give you enough time to get.
I just have to shoot up to do the nativity.
Okay.
How come I'm not there?
You're supposed to be.
Oh,
Yeah, that's right. And you have to be there too.
so I won't, I don't know, see, I'd rather do vision.
So would I, but
Okay.
So that's Tuesday, December 1st, 4:30.
Yes.
It's on my calendar.
Okay, let's see.
Right, that works better than.
All right, I will confirm it by email tomorrow. The other thing I was asked to check into is the filming revenue. Just to let you know, it's $1,000 per day plus the last filming we did was a late fee of $150 because they applied late, so we made $1,150. And I just wanted you to know that I'm working with Nassau County right now. They are taking 20 people around to see different sites for filming, and we're hoping on December 4th and 5th that we will be part of their review, and I'm going to take some pictures of local places.
All right, we got it.
Send-
I'm sorry, I think we have a lot of items to cover, that's all.
Okay, well, I'm
You know
just
what?
doing
It doesn't have to
whatever.
all be done in this work session.
Well, that brings me to another proposal. I think we should have 2 work sessions a month.
Well,
I agree.
we have Thanksgiving, we have Christmas, we have Hanukkah.
Well, I think
Holidays are-
the
Only 2
residents
hours a
expect
month.
us
It's
to
like
work hard at
just 2
fixing
months.
all the problems that we have in the village. And we really don't spend much time talking about them or doing anything.
I'm not saying that
I
we
can
shouldn't talk
understand
about
why
it, I'm
the
just saying-
Manorhaven Action Committee was started, they're gonna serve a purpose. And I think that the board, who is elected to run the village, should spend more time working on it. You were a board member for 3 years, and that's where we are. No laughing at. So anyway, that's my feeling.
We're not supported by you.
It's not a political action committee, right? Okay.
Keep on going. What else?
I'm waiting for you, whatever you
No,
want to
that's it, I
discuss.
think that's all for this evening.
Well, we can't add anything else?
I think, no, you know
No,
what?
I'm just,
I don't think it's anything that we have to look up. If there's anything we can discuss, we still have time.
I have a lot
Yeah.
of things that I've checked into, but I'm not sure anybody wants to hear. I really
Well,
mean it.
let's
Why
I know
don't
you
you
asked me to
finish
check
your
into
report?
Nassau County.
That's right, why don't you?
Yes.
I spoke to Officer Sikorsky in
Yes.
Nassau County. He said that he's gonna check further for me, but he said, we don't have and this is what I said, we don't have a contract with Nassau County. It's done by somewhere, I guess, the assessor's office,
Right,
but we
but
don't
how do we get
have a
that, but
contract.
how do we get that figure?
That's what I'm trying to find out, but even the police, Nassau Third Precinct, had no idea.
There's a way of getting it. You have to-
How?
You have to go into the tax situation. I'll get that number. I will get that.
All right,
But that-
it's not done by contract.
But that also brings to another point. We talked about having the police here at a general meeting so that the residents could voice their concerns about certain things. And we said we were gonna do that almost, last December.
I have met with them.
Not you, the general public, it was agreed to, we all sit here and people could raise their concerns of what they felt was not being done and what their suggestions were. So now it's a year later.
Would
we
you
still
like to
haven't done
invite
it.
them next Thursday?
Well,
I don't know if
Can we have a
necessarily
Q&A
will.
with the commander of the 3rd precinct?
We could,
No, I'd like
reach
to,
out to the
I like,
inspector.
Kevin, I think it's important to have the residents here. The
Let him
residents
come
wanna
and
be
tell us
here.
what he's.
The residents
Open,
want, yeah.
Open.
Do you want to have another evening meeting, like a work session meeting, and invite them to
I
the
think you
next
have
work
to have it.
Invite them to
session?
the
And let
BOT
the
if they're
people
available.
come.
This way it's-
Well, that's why I'm asking, so I can arrange in the
No,
BOT.
Leslie, if they're
or-
available for the next week, then just have them.
Okay.
I think you should have a few to represent.
So the Nassau County Police, we're gonna ask them to come to the next board meeting?
This month,
That's next week, yeah.
That's next
Right,
week.
If
I
they're
don't know if
available
we can.
next week,
Available.
otherwise we'll arrange if they're available
In
for
December.
December.
Or the
because
December
meeting.
There's a new inspector. It's no
Yeah,
longer-
Mary, his name.
Right,
Prashant's still there, he's just moved up.
yeah.
Well, let's
So-
just get somebody in.
So there'll be, and can we have him come like at 7 and then have a meeting at 7:30? Have him talk for half an hour? What do you think?
Well, I think,
Yeah,
let's
we
just
can't
see.
let them sit there and wait for our
No.
meeting to go. so
No,
we
I
definitely have
think
to
it's
speak
important to
first.
get our meetings moving
Let 'em come
along
at
quicker.
But the only
Maybe
thing
we'll
is,
let 'em
if
know.
you wanted a Q&A, you're not, you can't give yourself a half hour for a
I'll give you
Q&A.
an
No,
hour.
you're right. So we should do it an hour.
I mean, you don't know how many
So
residents
then
are
we
gonna
should
show
do
up
it
and how many
not
people.
next meeting, we should do it
Probably
at the next
December where it's a
work session.
lighter,
Well, the next work
should do it at
session,
the
if
next-
I'm not mistaken, is December
14.
14th, right?
Yep.
We can't have them come and talk about what they're doing and give the public an opportunity to ask questions.
well, why don't we just
We can
arrange?
make it as 2
We
different
can do it
meetings.
that way.
But I just want to,
Yeah.
I want to give people enough time to get the word out that they're coming.
That's true.
All right, so
Right,
let's.
because by next
move
week,
the work
half the people
session.
say nobody
Right,
told me
you're
because
right.
they don't know. We can
Okay,
announce
so-
it at the next meeting.
Do you think they're gonna attack?
I don't think so as a police
First
officer.
of all,
I can't see them attacking.
it's
a
his
police
job to
officer.
be able to handle that. I mean, he's the commander for a reason, right? He's, you know, he's got to
Don't
be able
worry
to
about
handle a
what?
little
He's
bit
gonna
of.
stand
because-
down
What are you
there, like, he's
talking
gonna
about?
rat us out.
No, he's planning, he's trying to get the dates he knows to be off that night.
Totally.
He's hiding, I can't even see him.
Yeah. No, this way,
All right, so
All right,
let's
let's just
try
do the
for,
meeting, get them here, let's talk.
get him at the next work session.
Okay,
He can
December
come and do a
14th at
QA,
7
and
PM.
We'll just all be here a little later
Okay.
that night, that's all.
That's why I think we
Fine,
have to
no
put the
problem.
time in, I really do.
Yeah.
So wait a second, so if you're
Okay.
saying next work session, then we should book the next work session date.
We did already.
We did,
December 14th.
You
Hold on, I don't have
suggested.
it. Oh, yeah, it's in there, sorry.
Okay, so, the next thing on my list just to talk about is, the 20s plenty for us discussion, and, wanted to know whether we are at a point where we wanted to talk about that for a resolution for the meeting, or where we are.
What do we have to do? What's the next thing we do?
I
Let's
thought
do
at
it.
last BOT meeting that we
We
were gonna
discussed
do a
it.
public hearing on it, right, you know, for this.
Exactly.
But we also
So- so
discussed that
it-
there's an issue with the litigation and the attorneys that,
What?
right now, I think that we should just.
I think we'll
resolve
find
that
out
before
tomorrow.
we move.
I know, what's more?
I thought we were gonna, that's what I heard.
Forget it.
Forget it, sorry.
Let's go to plenty 20, okay? What's the next thing to do?
Well, we have to schedule a public hearing to change the miles per hour
I thought we were going to do that at the last meeting, but let's.
throughout the whole
next
entire
meeting.
village.
Okay, so we have to tell the entire village?
Yeah,
We have to write them a letter?
Well, it goes in the it goes in the
Right, we have to-
newspaper.
public notice.
Yeah, and
Public
then
notice.
there has to be a comment on it, right?
So let's do
But
that.
we made a
30 days
resolution
comment.
this BOT meeting
But it's-
for
it's
next
involved,
month, but now,
so-
wait a second, next month is December, it's
Right, it's
Christmas.
Christmas, that's what I'm saying.
Well, let's announce it and do it in January, but at least get it out there and get it on people's
Just because
radar.
I feel bad.
When is the January BOT meeting?
So wait, December 17th is our BOT meeting,
I would
right?
say
So what's the one after
February,
that?
Only because
Because,
of the issue with the attorneys and.
The 14th, I think, no, the 21st?
1, 2.
We're doing our board meeting on January 21st.
So that's when we should
I
set
thought it
it
was
up.
the 20, is it 21st or 28th
21st,
in January?
yeah.
All right, so we're gonna set the date, we're not gonna do it yet, but we'll set the date for the public hearing on the 21st of January. Okay,
And we can notice right away, right?
well, you can't do it, you can only notice between no less than 10, no more than 20 days, so we can start writing the
Okay.
law, we can review the law that we will be discussing in the public hearing, and we can have it.
One important thing that's been talked about for over the last year or so is a capital budget. And we've never really done a capital budget here. We have $65,000 in surplus, we have a lawsuit hanging over our heads, and we have to figure out a way that we could start putting money away to improve the roads and the sewer. And we really have to give it real hard and consideration for the future. The village is crumbling apart, and it's not due to any administration, it's just the wear and tear. But unless we start spending money and improving the conditions, it's only gonna worsen. We're playing really on a powder keg here. We have to come up with some, whether it be a bond issue, some sort of surcharge for possibly building, whatever it is to draw in additional revenue. Get us jump-started, get $1 million spent, show the residents we're doing something to improve the roads. The people complain about roads, potholes. They
Still, what, a $250,000 a mile, something like that?
Yeah, it's expensive. You talk about $3 or $4 million project here. But we know we need to do it. There's no question about it. I mean,
Now that the pump station has been resolved, that was a lot of money coming out of our surplus,
Right.
a
but
lot.
you have to, when you do.
But now it's like up to par, like the third pump is working, like everything is done,
Everything's
is
fine,
complete.
but-
Now the next, I agree, the next thing is the roads and the sewer.
That's what
I don't know
mean.
which
And we
order.
also have
Do them
to
together,
say,
let's do them
we
together.
have to put some money aside for that force pump too, because that is going to go.
Force main.
The force
Way-
main.
Force main, excuse me. That's way overdue apparently. It's a time bomb.
What I'm asking
It's
for
gotta
is
be some
everybody
kind of
give
grant
serious
out there or something.
consideration how we get capital in here.
I like Kevin's idea. Kevin, you had this idea. You want to tell them
What?
your idea about 5% of the annual budget?
Well, no, that's allocated, I understand that, but that has to be put in cement.
Okay.
In other words, when we need the budget, we have to say, okay, next year, guys, 5% of our gross goes into the capital fund.
Right.
So we grossing
Yeah, we
$4 million a year,
We force ourselves to
5%, that will put 200 grand in the bank every year. I thought this is only the.
You know, I asked her to get me something.
Okay.
Sorry, it was me.
Just,
I asked her to get me.
What newsletter was that, so you're aware?
It was, it's spring 2015.
Okay.
I just wanted to, so keep going, I'm listening. I
Well,
just
I
wanted you to
summed
get
it
me
up.
something.
I think it's gotta be taken.
I know what she's
seriously.
reading, she's reading the capital plan. You
And
want
we
to
don't know
tell
what
us
the
about
plan-
it?
Yeah, tell us what the plan said specifically, not general. We all say capital plan. Okay.
All right, so you're right, Kevin, it's 1.6 million for 1 mile of Manorhaven roads.
Okay. Well, we know the problem, we have to get the solution.
I'm reading it, I don't remember what I did yesterday, you expect me to remember.
Well, no,
what
I don't understand
was
what that has significant to do with talking about building.
How much we have to raise.
Or we do that, okay, it's probably $3 or $4 million.
Yeah,
That's the number. Now, the key is how do we get to 3 or 4 million?
Okay, let's just look at this. I think that.
you have to, yeah, like, I remember when we discussed this now, it was saying that we had to take a road every year. We couldn't do it all in one year.
Oh,
What
of
I'm saying is
course.
we have to
Right.
start
Oh, yeah.
building we have to build the
We know what we
fund.
I
have to do.
understand, but building the funds, by the time you build the funds,
Then it's impossible, you say?
no, but I mean, by the time
Yeah,
we
well-
get to, we won't even, you'll build the funds, it would take
We
us
would have
5
to-
years to build the funds, and then we'll do a road every
we'll
year,
do
it'll be
it-
20 years, maybe my kids will see it.
Well, it's better than doing nothing.
So what do you think we should do?
I don't know, I'm trying to think it out, I
There's
thought there was
ways-
something else in
There's
here.
only certain ways to raise money. You could go and borrow bond, you can do it in a bond market. You could raise taxes, you could do surcharges.
I hate to
you know.
raise taxes,
No,
I'd rather do
I
a
didn't
bond.
We all
say,
hate that idea.
nobody wants to do that, believe me. I'm just telling you, there's only certain forms of where you get revenue.
Right.
You borrow it, you set aside a portion of budget by disciplining yourselves.
I mean, we can't even get Nassau County to fix Manorhaven
Well,
Boulevard.
almost, they are.
They're closed.
Eventually, but
Every
they're closed,
munis-
but
Yeah, but
that's
it's
what I'm
surveyed.
saying.
How long have we heard that?
Exactly,
Yeah.
and when they eventually
Well,
do it, and it's not our fault, we're
No,
just
I
saying
know.
whatever they're doing,
No.
but that's what's gonna happen to
They've
us.
On the
actually been
squeaky
out
wheel,
measuring.
though, I can call.
The residents complain about roads, the residents complain about code enforcement with the multi-dwellings and people not following the rules. That's the biggest complaint that we
Yes, I
have.
agree.
And we talked about other things, for example.
Well, let's stay on target now.
No, the
We're- no,
three
we're
main
on
bridges,
target.
okay, we're on target, I covered that, let me
No.
just
Okay,
bring
so
my
we
third part.
decided, that, I agree with you though, the roads and the sewer,
Right,
but we need, like, so
All
I
right,
guess that
Leslie,
all comes up
while
with the
we're on
capital
the
plan.
sewer,
yes,
Leslie,
we have to find the
um,
money for it.
We have
You
to
have
come up
three
with
votes?
creativity
No, I
of how to
don't.
get
We
it.
have
We're
to
still
find
waiting
it,
for
we have to
Robert's
find out
return.
whether or not,
I'm waiting
we
for
have to
the-
put it aside, like if you have a big bill coming through, sometimes you have to save for it over time.
One other fact, we don't mind that. Jim, you mentioned you're gonna bring up a definition of liaison, what that means.
Oh, okay, let's do that.
A liaison is between road position and the people. So
Right.
if Mr. Masiello had a problem with code enforcement, the code, he would bring it to the code enforcement liaison, rather than bring it directly to code enforcement. The liaison would communicate the problem and to code enforcement and see if they can resolve it.
Okay.
And then the liaison would go back to Mr. Masiello and say, you know, this is what they did.
Well,
The liaison becomes one avenue. It doesn't have to be the only avenue.
Well,
No.
They can approach code enforcement directly.
Right.
Of course.
This is if
They
they,
can go
somebody
to the window
feels.
anytime, they're always there.
But I guess what I'm saying is that we, the last meeting, we tried to set up a liaison specific duty to trustees to help the village. Whether it be highway, whether it be code, whether it be banking.
It's a
whether
communicative
it-
role, it's not an administrative.
Well,
It
but
takes
I think
communications.
that, what I'll wait for the next meeting to talk about making it an administrative
I mean,
role.
it can't, I mean, the administrative function of the village is run by the mayor. So you can't have a trustee running the administration of the village. It's
Well, how
simply-
about just assisting? I mean, aren't the
It's-
village
it's
where
not- it's not the way
trustees
it's
work?
done.
Well, let me check on that, see how.
Sure.
So you're saying that there's no way that the trustees can help the mayor, she has to do it all?
It's not.
That's not what it's
So then how do we help? How do
What
we
you're
have
saying is,
areas?
can you run the village as a trustee?
Not right.
No, we didn't
Help-
say that.
You didn't say that.
Or be,
Well, you can
or
report back to
preside
them.
as in a supervisory capacity over, say, code enforcement. It just simply doesn't work that way. The mayor is the chief executive of the officer, and along with the clerk and the staff, that they run the village. I mean, you can pass resolutions as to, you know, certain things.
I guess what I'm saying is, Priscilla and I have time on our hands, and we'd be willing to come down and help out any capacity that the mayor being the chief executive officer
I can
deems.
give you a broom and you can sweep me.
They won't let me, I've tried.
They won't.
They say, no, didn't I want snow, remove the snow? I said, give me a shovel, let me remove the snow. You went crazy.
You know what, Jim, you understand what I'm trying to say?
I got it.
I'm just trying to,
They have time on their hands and they want to be put to work.
we want to put together, to work with
That's
the
what they
village,
say.
not write
Is that wrong?
newsletters.
No, not at all.
Are
I
you
wish I had
upset
time.
about that?
No, I wish I had time on my hands.
Okay.
Okay, so fine, you do.
I just don't think, you know, you gotta be careful not, you know.
We're not here to disrupt it, we're trying to help work with the village to make it better. And that's exactly what my plan is.
So how can we do that, Mr. Tony?
Well, no, it's up to the mayor.
Again, it's not necessarily up to the mayor. She is the executive. She
Right.
runs the village.
Right.
The trustees are to pass resolutions in the legislative
I
branch.
understand
There's a
that.
separation of powers in a village as there is in every municipality.
Well, let's boil it down to this, we want to help, how can we help?
For this committee, you belong to committees.
Okay, so let's form committees. I would like,
No, wait,
I
they're
would
not
like-
gonna cover that time.
why?
Well, they are? You know.
Yeah,
What
because
committee
Rita
was
wants
that?
to be a committee for codes, correct? You
Well,
asked for that.
that's a liaison, so use a committee or liaison, what are we doing?
Well, you say you can't be a liaison, we can't be a
I did not
committee.
say
Well,
you can't be a liaison.
Your committee
It's more
consists
than one, like
of,
you would be the head and you'd say, Priscilla, could you be on my committee? And I said, yes, and then you give me a job to do. What would you like me to do? Finance?
Which I
Okay,
love.
Kevin is perfect on finance, that's his job.
But it's
You
not
can
the,
find
it's not
us
the
$1
role of a
million.
trustee to be the treasurer. We have.
I'm not asking you to be
Nobody's
treasurer.
opposed to being the treasurer.
Nobody wants, we
I'm
just
not
want
interested in
to
being the treasurer,
help.
that's Leslie's job.
No, but we can all creatively try to find a way to raise more money.
Well,
to
that's
put
one
it
part of it,
away.
there's
Yeah,
other parts.
that's-
Like you talked, for example, about outsourcing your sweeping. That was, you presented, it's $8,000 a month. And that just stood there, we just left it alone, we didn't do anything about it.
Right, but I will tell you that
I'm
we
just
now
saying that
have
we
somebody.
come up with ideas and then they kind of just be pushed aside for a
Well,
while.
I think at the time though, we decided in
I don't-
talking with DPW, they said, you know what, we've got these two pieces of equipment. I will tell you, we now have somebody who is a master, a genius, who now has both sweepers working. He's fixed all the equipment. We're prepped and ready to go for the snow. So we are ahead of ourselves in
Okay.
getting all those pieces of equipment
So
ready,
all-
and we can call on him for that.
So all the complaints about sweeping has been rectified now, that the sweepers are
A
out
lot
there
of
every
them,
Thursday and Friday.
the sweepers
Then
are
nobody's
out
gonna
there,
say,
they
"Hey."
are fixed.
Okay, if that's the case,
it
that's
stops
great.
soon anyway.
Pardon me?
It just
Yeah,
makes them,
see.
they stop soon.
Well, that's the
know.
problem with heavy equipment, they
It
do
breaks.
break down, they do have things that break.
We
but
do have
this
old
guy
equipment
is-
though, too.
We have very old
We have
equipment,
very
and if
outdated
you
equipment. If you
remember,
look at our
That's
trucks,
why
they-
Leslie
tried
brought
to-
up, that's why you brought up outsourcing the sweeping.
It's also all the more reason why you need a capital plan.
Exactly.
Because guess what, every major piece of equipment.
Kevin, I'm
is
happy
built
to
on-
talk to you, sit down with you and talk to you about that. We can do a pro and con sheet and
There's
see
no, of what? Of raising capital?
if, if we're gonna spend $8,000 a month and not have the
Well,
equipment.
I'm just saying, but
and-
you brought it up, it was never finalized. You know, we bring up something, we say, okay, 8,000 a month, and then it disappears. You know, we didn't sit around and really talk about it. We're gonna blow out the sewer, whatever they call it. We never really,
We're waiting for one
we have
last
three, but this
quote
is 3
from-
months.
These don't move like they do in private industry, I'm sorry. I mean,
Okay.
I can't make them go any faster than they are. I would like to have gotten
Maybe that's an
something
example of
faster.
something Priscilla and I, you could say, Priscilla,
I can't-
follow up with the people, get the bids in here, follow up.
You know
Okay,
what,
here-
excuse me, I just have to say, Mr. Avina, the first day that I said this is really urgent, and I said, you said, we have one person across the street who I know could do it, but they can't do it. I said, would you like to follow up on that? And you said, no, you can do it. You said
Okay,
that
but-
exactly to me, so.
Oh, okay,
You
now
know what,
according
I've
to-
tried, I have tried to get you
I
involved.
already said there's no he
Anything
said,
you
she
want.
said,
You said
and it's
no.
not me, you, or I.
But I
I'm just
did
saying,
ask
we-
you
we
for
don't
that.
ask for something
I
like that.
did ask you to
Okay.
get involved in that, and you-
Okay.
and,
Okay.
but you can't have it both ways, I'm sorry, but it's true. I would
Okay, so
love
back
to
to-
engage, and I've sat down with you every time you've come in, but if I give you anything specific,
Oh,
it
okay.
has.
All right, give me the next one, I will take care of it.
Okay,
Thank you.
What was the specific thing she asked?
She never asked me to do
I-
anything.
Okay.
Trust me.
Stop.
I would like to bring up something that we brought up last time at the last work meeting, and that was the bulkhead at the end of Furwood.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but I thought we were allowed to discuss it after the.
Why can't we discuss it? Yes, we can, because once we discuss it.
Mr.
and we-
Leventhal told me I wasn't allowed to
No,
discuss it.
no, no, he said as long as we are, now that we know about it, we are doing something about it.
Right.
Let's do something about it. Let's not just sit and look at it.
It's a safety hazard.
It's a safety hazard, and now that we know about it, we've got to start doing something about it.
Okay, so we know that we approved for an engineer or whatnot, that was never done.
Never done.
Okay?
Now, the problem is, Rita, whose problem is it? Is it his problem
I'm
or
trying
the
to find that
town's
out.
problem? I did
Maybe
some
Mr.
we can
Attorney,
research.
Can you
help.
put-
Depends on where it's located.
Well, we have to, we have a
Well,
whole
it
file
is-
on it.
I have a location of it, here. This is it, right here. I should have made copies.
Here's the tax assessments. Here. Here's the.
Well, why don't we give it to
I'm
Mr.
trying to go
Tony?
with it working.
Yep.
This is the lots. And I made a picture of it.
Forward is, that's really disgraceful.
Here you
And
go.
it would be right, let me just point to it for you. It would be apparently right up in here that the lots are. Now, does that belong to Sands Point, or does that belong to us? He pays taxes on it, so I would assume it pays, it's his.
Wasn't that Mr. Larry,
Here we go.
former deputy mayor's property? No?
I believe so.
What?
I believe so. I was last told by Sharon, because I asked her to look into it for me, was that,
Mark Larovich owns it?
yeah.
It was Larry-
All right, so you each have a survey
Well, he's
of,
got, Mr. Tony, you're gonna, we
We have to
believe
find out who's
that
paying taxes on it.
Mark is.
Mark, apparently Mark.
well, there are three
I mean, if he's
sections.
selling it, he must be paying taxes
I
on it.
don't know.
Well, this is Kerry Keene is the contract for
Well,
that.
apparently
I
he has
know,
it for
I'm so
sale.
confused, and here's this note that Sharon was, I don't know if you can see it.
Well, this
You
has
ever
been in
read it?
disarray for a couple of years. Just take a look at it, it's horrible.
You have the survey. Yeah, I do too, because he
I'm
was
worried,
supposed to
because
come
I knew
after
he was supposed to
class.
come, so.
There's traffic.
I tried, but I tried.
Okay.
I was just concerned that something
Just
happened.
keep going. Barbara, I just want to give this
Well,
to you.
that's good,
I
we'll
don't
get
know if
that.
you're gonna stay for the whole meeting. These are the-
Right. I wouldn't know.
Have you seen pictures of it, Kevin?
No, yeah, I've seen it. I mean, I'm looking at this though. Yeah, no, I know, I've been down there.
Okay.
So, just looking at the survey, I think we have to figure out what portion of it is the village's responsibility. What portion is each of the homeowner on either side? And what would be the portion of the homeowner, if it's Mr. Lazarevic or whoever it is, further part up the hill?
What we need is something that shows us where the border of the villages is.
Well, just looking at it, I mean, the village would be between the two curbs, except that we know that there's a piece of property above. So
Well, it
it's not
says
as
vacant
easy.
lot there.
These are just,
Right here?
Yes,
Vacant lot.
that's up on the top.
That's where he.
But if you,
yeah.
yeah, but if you look at that, what part of this is belong to that?
no.
So what the
No, I
the
know.
point of being that if he's selling it, they have to have a way to get into it.
That's
That's where
right.
the point is.
Right. Well, it can't be on the Furwood side, it's gotta be up on the hill. It's
On
gotta
what
be
hill?
up.
Off of Cornwall's Lane, you're saying?
Thank you.
Off of Cornwall Lane?
To come down today? How was that
Well,
possible?
because I think the house is going to sit like on the houses on Montessori, what's that school up there?
Prospect, you're talking about, Montessori?
You know how you can see like half the house goes into
Yeah,
the
Pleasant
hill?
Ave?
Yeah, that's it.
Pleasant Ave.
I think that's what, right, I
Well,
said possibly, yeah, me
I
too.
guess we're talking about those specifically,
But
that
the-
bulkhead.
Right,
Yeah.
so the problem is, how far down does